Hello everybody, Gage here from Sharp, excited to have you with me for the long-awaited return of the Battle of the Blades. We totally forget how we used to do these, so we have new rules. We are going to go through all of these vegetables that we have in front of us with all of the 5 Santoku that we have battling today. We're going to pick a winner or, talk about why certain knives have tied with one another. And then once we've tested all of these knives on all of these vegetables, we will crown the Battle of the Blades Victor Santoku edition. So without further ado, today's participants are the 165mm Santoku, of course, from Tosaichi Aogami Super line. It's got an Aogami Super core with a stainless cladding, this beautiful magnolia handle with black packawood ferrule, octagonal in shape. Balance point right about yonder. Next up, we have the Tsunehisa Tsuchime Santoku. This guy's 180mm. It's made from AUS 8 stainless steel. It has a brown packawood ferrule Western style on it. Balance point a little bit further back, right about there. Next up, we have the 165mm Kurogane Santoku. Kurouchi with ironclad finish on it. So this will be the most difficult of the 5 to maintain. The second most difficult being the Tosaichi, and then all the others are made from stainless steel. So they'll be easy to take care of. This guy, the whole blade will rust. It's made from Aogami number 2, so it'll be a joy to sharpen. It's a little rustic, this guy, so we'll see how she does. I'm optimistic about this guy. Its balance point, oh my gosh, almost got away from you there. Right about there. And it's got these beautiful maple handles on them with green ferrule and end cap. Next up, we have the 165mm Makoto Kurosaki Tsuchime Santoku. These guys are made from VG7. They have these mono walnut handles on them. They've got the beautiful Tsuchime and Damascus pattern on them. Balance point on these bad boys is, I think, the furthest forward of all of the knives. So this is my what I suspect is going to win. So I'm interested to see how the rest perform. Really light overall. Like I said, stainless steel, really easy to take care of. So we'll see how this guy does. And then last but not least, we have the Hatsukokoro Ginsou Santoku. I think this guy's listed as 170mm, but I could be mistaken. Mono olive wood handle on these guys. I love the olive wood handles. I know a lot of you don't like the lighter colored handles, but yeah, that's pretty normal for me to be wrong. Ginsen is a semi-stainless, so I can't remember the exact chromium percentage in these guys, but it's not quite enough to be considered a fully stainless steel knife. But you do have to really beat these guys up and not take care of them at all for them to rust at all. So I would still say that this is in the easy maintenance category. Okay, I've got this one in my hand, so let's get started with the Ginsou. We're gonna take these guys through tomato, onion, sweet potatoes, that's what they're called, and some green onions. The tomato is going to be for like out of the box sharpness. The onion will sort of tell us a story about the tip geometry, blade geometry at the tip. The sweet potato will tell us about the blade geometry of the entire knife, and then the scallions will tell us how it performs with the rock chopping motion. So let's get into it. Like I said, we'll start with the tomato. Magic of television. Where did that piece go that I just cut? It's gone. All right, guys. So like I said, tomato test on out-of-the-box sharpness of the Ginsou series. Now, I'm going to be totally transparent here. These guys do not arrive to our shop in the most amazing condition. It's a quick little touch-up to get these guys sharp. So we've been sharpening these before we send them out to you guys. So this is a little bit of a cheating test here because I sharpened this guy, and it's so it's not the real out-of-the-box edge, but it is the out-of-the-box edge that you will receive if you ever order one. What am I doing here? I'm gonna go like this now. I really like this knife. It's got the Japanese handle on it, which I really like. I like the aesthetic of this knife too. It's got like that really distinct clad line on it, which is really cool. So they're Ginsen with a stainless cladding. I don't know exactly what the stainless cladding is, but it's not super important, if I'm being honest with you. Like I said, once these guys are sharpened up, they feel fantastic. Ginsen is said to be the closest stainless steel to carbon steel in terms of its sharpenability, and I would definitely agree with that. This guy's got really nice balance point on it. It feels really nice in the hand. It's quite light overall. It's pretty thin at the spine. So some of you might not super enjoy like the feeling of the spine on the meat of your index finger here, but when the knife's super sharp, you shouldn't really have to be like forcing it through too much anyway. So there you go. Out of the box edge on the tomato for the Ginsou was great, although we cheated, yes. Okay, Tsunehisa Santoku, here we go. Okay, this is real deal out of the box edge on this guy. We don't have to do anything. We usually just strop these up a little bit before we send them out. Yeah, these guys are awesome. They come super sharp right out of the box. I'm not normally one to go after the Western handle stuff, but I know there's a lot of you out there that really love the feeling of a Western handle. So who am I to judge, right? It's all about personal preference. And this knife does still feel really great in the hand. I was saying to Jake off camera before, just between shots here, that I feel like today's going to be a really tight battle, man. We got a lot of really awesome stuff to test out here. Yeah, and look at that. Really nice. This knife is, again, quite light overall. Balance point is a little further back in the handle. And, you know, that's pretty normal for Western handled knives. Very good food release. The tomato is not the greatest test for food release, but out of the box edge on this guy is fantastic, really stellar. Moving on. Next, we've got the Tosaichi Aogami Super Santoku. Out of the box testness. Again, we don't do anything to these guys other than give them a little strop before we send them out, and hopefully you can see why here. They're super duper sharp. Obviously, like if you get it, if you buy a knife from us or anyone else, like pretty much, it doesn't matter really how sharp the knife is. It can always generally benefit from a little touch up on a higher grit stone, but yeah, these guys are super sharp right out of the box as well. This guy's a little more my speed with the Japanese style handle on it. Aogami Super with stainless cladding is generally what I go for as well. And I know a lot of you guys love the Aogami Super with stainless cladding as well. And for good reason, right? Like you get all the benefits of the carbon steel protected by stainless, which is nice. So they're easy to sharpen. These guys are, I would say that these are the lightest knives that we're going to test out today. So if you like a super light knife, these guys are going to be right up your alley. They are quite thin at the spine, probably the thinnest of the 5 we're testing today at the spine. Oh, don't do that. Scraped across the board. What a loser. But yeah, again, I feel like this is going to be a super tight battle, man. I really, so far through the first 3, I wouldn't be able to pick a winner, really. They all are performing super well. So yeah, there's the Tosaichi. Let's move on. Next up, we've got the 165mm Kurogane Kurouchi Ironclad Aogami number 2 Santoku. These guys also, we have done nothing to. I gave it a little strop before we got going here. And yeah, it's definitely sharp. This guy, it has like not the nicest bevels in the world. It gets a little meaty pretty quick, but as you can tell, like out of the box sharpness is still quite nice on these guys. It's quite light overall. I would say it's probably, and not by a large margin, but probably the heaviest knife in the 5 that we're going to test out today. It is currently daytime. It's got the Japanese handle on it. I really like the feel of these handles. Some people, I've been surprised that the feedback on these handles we've gotten from customers has not been like the most stellar. Whoa. That was weird. Something happened there. Probably user error. But yeah, even with all of the like negative things I've said about this knife, obviously it's still performing really well. Super sharp. It's going to be probably tied with the Tosaichi as like the easiest knife to sharpen. And I do believe on the website in the description we mentioned that this is sort of like a either like a really affordable knife that you're just kind of dipping your toes into Japanese knives with, or it's one that you're gonna like, you know, get to practice your sharpening on. It could definitely benefit from a little thinning. We'll probably see that rear its head a little bit more when we get into the onion and the sweet potato. But for the out of the box edge, just going through a tomato, I think it performed really, really well. Moving on. All right, last but certainly not least is the Makoto VG7 Tsuchime Damascus Santoku. This is a real deal out of the box sharpness test. We just stropped this guy a little bit and yeah, they're super duper sharp. I'm trying to go too fast here. Really, really nice. This actually, I thought the Kurogane was the heaviest. I actually think that this guy has the most like weight in the hand. I don't know if that's just like a balance thing. It, as we learned in the intro, it did have the most forward balance point, so maybe that's what's making it feel a little heavier. It doesn't feel heavy. It's definitely, I would generally describe this as a very light knife, but just in comparison to some of the other stuff we've been using, it's maybe a little bit heavier. Out of the box edge, as you can see, is very, very nice. I love the feel of this knife. I do definitely enjoy having a little more weight forward. And like the grinds and everything on these guys are pretty much like perfect. I don't like to use that word obviously, but they're pretty frickin' stellar, man. And it just looks really awesome and everything, super easy to take care of. So there you have it, guys. The tomato test done. I think we've got a 3-way, maybe even a 4-way tie on the tomato here. I would say the only knife that I found was not like consistently awesome was the Kurogane. It was still very good, but I just can't justify tying all 5. Okay, so okay, that's fair. Jake brings up a good point. Even though we are going to if you order a Ginsou Santoku, we are going to sharpen it for you. We can't justifiably give that a tie because that's not the real out of the box edge. Okay, so that's fair. So there's a 3-way tie then. Tsunehisa, Tosaichi, Makoto Kurosaki, 3-way tie on the tomato test. Moving on to the onion test. All right, folks, onion dicing test. This is hopefully going to tell us how the geometry at the tip of the knife performs. And holy macaborni, this guy. Look at that. Woo! That felt really nice. We got some hedgehog mohawk stuff happening here, but yeah, that feels really nice. I didn't really know what to expect from this knife on this task. That felt fantastic, though. Let's see if it wasn't just a fluke, though. Nope, not a fluke. This knife feels great. Sorry, get rid of this guy. Ow. Less oniony hedgehogging happening on this one. Yeah, that felt fantastic. Really nice balance in the hand. Like I said, it definitely is my preference, but I'm really pleasantly surprised at how nice and easily this went. And when you look at this, it does taper a little bit towards the tip. It gets pretty thin here. Yeah, and you definitely notice when you're going through the onion, went through that like no problem. So moving on. All right, Tsunehisa Santoku, here we go. Many hedgehoggies happening, but that's okay. I definitely think that was a user error thing here. That felt fantastic as well. Yeah, maybe not quite as effortless going through when I'm doing these cuts, but when I was cutting horizontally, that felt better than on the Ginsou. Yeah, this guy's awesome as well, man. You're gonna hear me say this again and again. Real tough race here. That one got a little messy there, but that felt fantastic as well. Yeah, through 2 knives. I don't know who I'm gonna choose here. Both performing really well. Moving on. All right, Kurogane onion test. Oh man, I had the lowest expectations for this knife coming into this test, but man, look at that. There could be an element of me just kind of getting in the groove here on the, you know what it's like, the first onion never goes quite the way you want it to, and then once you get in the groove, it starts getting easier and easier. I'll do one with a horizontal slice for all the people who believe in the horizontal slice, and one without a horizontal slice for all the people that don't like that part. Yeah, that felt fantastic as well, man. Like, this is gonna be really tough. Again, like, this knife's performed really well. I can't really say anything too bad about it, but it's just, we're kind of like, you know, neck and neck here. So it is kind of just that gut feeling that you get from the knife, I guess, is what I'm trying to get across in these videos, is like, you never really know which one's right for you until you've seen them used, and just get a sense for, like, you know, the feel, man, that certain je ne sais quoi. And well, that performed really well. I just, like, if I had the 3 knives we've used so far in front of me, I would probably grab for one of the other ones, for whatever reason. I don't know why, because it still did really well. So anyways, moving on. Onion test Makoto Kurosaki. Oh man, that was nice. That was nice. Yep, that feels really good. It definitely feels a little thicker at the tip. Yeah, but that felt fantastic as well. Ah, man, I feel like this is gonna come down. Well, we still have one more knife to do, so I can't really get too ahead of myself, but that felt fantastic. That's definitely gonna be a front runner for the winner of the onion test. Moving on. All right, we're getting emotional in here, so thank God this is the last onion Tosaichi test. Here we go. Yeah, that felt really nice. That onion just exploded apart there. That was crazy. All right, we got some serious hedgehogging happening there. I suspect that is more a byproduct of the onion that we're working with here and less to do with the knife.
It's a high tension onion.
It is not, yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. So again, we're kind of just it's really tight battle. So it's hard to really definitively give the edge to one knife or the other, but I would say that I just kind of enjoyed myself a little bit more when I was using the Tsunehisa and the Ginsou Santokus and the Makoto. So I'm gonna put 3-way tie again between Tsunehisa, Ginsou, and Makoto Kurosaki. All right, folks, sweet potato test, Ginsou. Oh, and I suspect none of these are gonna be super awesome. That I definitely was a little timid on that first one. So that was more user error than anything. But yeah, I mean, you guys, if you've watched the channel for any length of time, you know I'm always talking about longer knives for sweet potatoes or dense ingredients like this. So while this is doing just fine, it's definitely not getting me super excited. Yeah, it's like super sharp, but the blade geometry on these smaller knives is never going to be super conducive to doing like really dense ingredients like this. It's a little sticky. Yeah, so that was the first test that we did with this Ginsou that didn't like really get me excited. Again, I would not be unhappy with that performance. You got to manage your expectations cutting harder, dense ingredients with a shorter knife like this. But yeah, overall, like pretty decent performance. Decent. Next, we've got the Tsunehisa for our sweet potato test, and wow, okay, so I managed my expectations. And my expectations were far exceeded with this knife. That was fantastic. That did really, really well. So we've already got a clear front runner for our sweet potato test.
It's also a little bit longer.
It's a little longer, so that could be contributing to their performance. It's a little sticky, but that's not super surprising. Maybe if I do like a little, yeah, like that obviously worked better. Yeah, so this guy's definitely outperforming the Ginsou for our sweet potato test. It's a little bit thinner at the spine and behind the edge. Bevel's a little more gradual, so yeah. So far through 2 knives, the Tsunehisa has bested the Ginsou. We'll see how the rest of the knives perform. Moving on. All right, Kurogane sweet potato test. This is the one I'm probably the most concerned about. We'll see how she does. So my concerns were unwarranted. This guy is... Oh, okay. All right. All right. So yeah, you can definitely feel the blade geometry on this guy impacting like the feel of the cut. Again, it can be a little tough to get across through video. And while it is performing really well, I definitely like feel that it's thicker behind the like thicker at like the bevels are a little thicker is what I'm trying to say. So you can kind of feel it sort of wedging apart a little bit. Obviously not a ton of wedging. A little bit like most notably when I was trying to do the cut it in half, when I had it tipped up this way, it was obviously got a little stuck in there. So that wasn't awesome. But I would say that it was like pretty on par with the Ginsou, just in terms of like how it felt as I was going through. So yeah, again, not bad, but not better than the Tsunehisa, that's for sure. Moving on. Yes, high hopes for the Tosaichi. Let's see what happens here. This is the weirdest shaped sweet potato we've done so far. Tosaichi doesn't care. Doesn't care one bit, man. Slice right through that thing, no problem. Yeah, that felt fantastic. That's feeling very on par with the Tsunehisa. Woo. A little bit of stickage. I don't know if I just cut things properly though. Yeah. Really nice. Really nice. Do I want to give the edge to this over the Tsunehisa through the first 4 knives? I might just. Whoa. Precarious. Yeah, that felt fantastic. A little bit of stickage. I think that's going to be the case for all the knives. Maybe the least sticky knife was the Kurogane because it's a little thicker behind the edge, and that wedging kind of does lead to better food release. But nothing out of the ordinary or really like annoying. And that guy performed really well, especially like the planks at the beginning. Slicing those was super easy. Cutting it in half was really easy. Doing my large dice was really easy. So I think I'm gonna say that through our first 4 knives, the Tosaichi is coming out on top. But we've got one more knife to go, so let's move on. All right, here we go. Makoto Kurosaki sweet potato. And yeah, that was awesome. I think this is the largest sweet potato we've done so far, so that should be taken into account, right, Jake? Like,
I think so.
the height of the sweet potato definitely matters. Well, that was by far the best food release we've had so far, if I'm not mistaken. Am I mistaken? I don't know.
Like
It felt really good, like I didn't have
Even
to
on the
do
slices.
anything. Yeah, that felt really nice. Yeah, again, there's like always just like that certain something about the knife, and this knife seems to have that certain something. It feels really nice. Save this for later. Yeah, dude. Man. We were Tsunehisa Tosaichi tied on this one so far. This one I can't not tie this with the other three. So we have another three-way tie. Jake is getting upset with me because how are we going to grade this? Jake has convinced me that my rating was incorrect. So because the performance on this guy was pretty much identical in terms of feel and everything as the Tsunehisa and the Tosaichi, but this one had noticeably the best food release. We're going to go a full point for the Makoto Kurosaki, and we're going to give half points to the Tosaichi and the Tsunehisa. So through 3 tests, this guy is winning. It's gotten a point for each test that we've done so far. The Tsunehisa is 2.5, the Tosaichi is 1.5, the Ginsou is 1, and the Kurogane is 0. All right, moving on to our green onion test. We're gonna do some rock chopping with these guys, see how they perform. Jake wants me to do a little like push and pull cutting with these guys as well. Now I might be mistaken, but I feel like this guy's got one of the flatter profiles that we're working with so far, so that might be contributing to how nice this feels so far. I am... I'm digging this, man. I almost just sliced my finger off there. Haven't done that in a while in the Sharp Studio. Yeah, really, really nice on this guy. Edge is holding up super well. Push cut went well. It's got a really flat profile on it, so I've got like very few, if any, little stuck together pieces. So yeah, I was really, really happy with the performance on that guy. Let's move on. All right, folks, Tsunehisa green onion test. I'm cheating a little bit. I cut the green and the white part in half because it was bugging me a little bit on the first one. Ooh. Well, I'm getting a little stucky togethers there, but that's probably more user error than anything. Oh, it feels really nice. Man. Again, this Tsunehisa is really surprising. Oh, I mean, I'm not super surprised. I'm just not good at the pull cut on these here green onions. But yeah, this guy, again, like very similar performance to the Ginsou. It feels great. It's maybe not quite as flat as the Ginsou. So when I'm doing like my pull cuts like this, it's maybe not quite as nice. Yeah, so like if I had green onions in front of me and I was trying to decide between the Tsunehisa and the Ginsou so far, I would probably be going Ginsou. So through two knives, the Ginsou is the leader on green onions. Moving on. All right, folks, Kurogane green onion test. Here we go. Whoa. This feels awesome. Yeah, look at that. Wow. I didn't really know what to expect from this knife on this test, but this is awesome. It's going really well. Yeah, wow, man. I really like this a lot. I feel like that's the nicest work that I've done so far. You throw those in some ice water, those are gonna curl up real nice, man. Some really nice green nests on your food. Yeah, that felt good, but not quite as nice. Like the little white part there, I could definitely feel the thickness behind the edge a little bit. So yeah, man, I hate to keep beating up on this knife, but just in comparison to the other ones that we've been working with so far, it's a great knife. I would be like, you know, if I wasn't comparing it to anything else, I'd be really happy with its performance. But yeah, I just can't justify tying this with the Ginsou. And I wouldn't tie it with the Tsunehisa either. So far we're Ginsou, Tsunehisa, Kurogane so far through 3 knives. Jake brings up a good point. Although this guy may not be performing quite as well as some of the other knives, it's still offering fantastic performance, and because it's a little thicker behind the edge, it's going to be the most resilient. Even though it's carbon steel, I would say that this guy's going to be the least likely to chip and stuff like that. So if that's something that you're worried about, the Kurogane is a knife to think about. All right, moving on. Tosaichi. That's a good noise.
Oh.
That feels nice.
I was worried.
No, that feels great. I feel like this one's got the most belly to it. I feel like it's got pretty rocky profile to it, which is obviously good for this particular task. Yeah, that feels fantastic as well. Man, I still feel like I just, for whatever reason, enjoyed the Ginsou a little bit more than this guy on the Scallions. But this was really nice. This might be a half pointer. Tsunehisa and the Tosaichi might be half pointers right now. We'll make that decision later. Moving on to our final knife. All right, final knife, final test. This is where stars are made. Okay, I know you're all gonna say, well, you did 3 tubes on all the other ones. You gotta do 3 tubes on this one. You know what? You're right. Oh, we got some stucky together, boys. But you know what? That's, I think, more just because I tried to do all 3 of these at the same time. And I was push cutting for that. Yeah, like that's real nice. Yeah. Makoto never lets me down, man. Those look great. Yeah, we got some little stuck together pieces, but you know, I was just biting off a little more than I could chew there. Yeah, some little stuck together boys. Oh, I didn't do the bites. Okay, it's all right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, still, that felt fantastic as well. I'm going to go half point for this guy, half point for the Tosaichi, half point for the Tsunehisa, and a full point for the Ginsou. So let's tally up all of our points here and see who came out on top. If I'm not mistaken, it's this guy right here. All right, folks, here are the results, hot off the press. Let's get to it. In 5th place with 0 points, the Kurogane Santoku. Now, although this guy got 0 points, I was still pleasantly surprised by the performance. And like we talked about sort of in the middle of the video, probably the least likely to chip out of the 5 that we tested today. So still a fantastic option, especially if you're looking for something that you want to learn how to sharpen on. Going to be really easy to sharpen. Next, with 3 points, is the Tosaichi Aogami Super. I'm a little bit surprised that this guy did not score a little bit higher. It's a fantastic knife. It's probably one of the ones that I would gravitate towards myself personally if I was looking for a knife, even over some of the other knives that we have left that scored higher. I'm a huge fan of Aogami Super. I love the stainless cladding. It's really light, which I really like also. I think maybe what was holding this knife back just a touch was the profile was maybe not quite as flat as I would like. But I don't know, man, like it still performed really, really well. Again, I'm kind of surprised it's lower on the totem pole here. Next up, we have the Ginsou Hatsukokoro Santoku. This is about where I thought this guy would score. Honestly, I thought the Tosaichi might do a little bit better than this guy. Now, take all this with a grain of salt because, like we said, we had to sharpen this one ourselves, whereas this guy we did not sharpen at all. So had we sharpened this Tosaichi before we used the test, instead of relying on its out-of-the-box edge, it may have ended up scoring higher than the Ginsou, which we had sharpened. So I don't know. One of the things I liked most about this Ginsou was the feeling of doing things with the tip. It really went through those onions super, super easily. So yeah, really pleasantly surprised with that guy. Okay, next with 4, 5, 6 points is the Tsunehisa Santoku. This is the most affordable option that we tested. It's also one that I personally would probably not really even consider if I was buying a knife. Again, like I have my preferences in terms of like handle style. The aesthetics also come into play here. I'm not saying that this is a bad looking knife, obviously. I'm sure a lot of you out there think this knife looks great, and it does look great. Just my personal preference is more towards the traditional Japanese wa style handle. What I really liked about this knife was the length. That might be a little bit cheating because we've got a 180 going up against 165s, 170s. A little bit of extra length is always going to make things a little easier. But the blade geometry is really nice on this guy. It was super sharp right out of the box. It's light. It feels great in the hand. So not super surprised to see this guy towards the top. And now, without further ado, the winner of our test is the Makoto Kurosaki VG7 Tsuchime Damascus Santoku. I loved everything about this knife. It didn't perform well in one test, and I shouldn't say it didn't perform well, it just didn't perform quite as well as the Ginsou at the Scallions, I think it was, that we gave it the half point. Anyways, not super important. It wins. This would definitely be right up my alley. If I came into the shop, I would probably be looking at Tosaichi, Ginsou, and Makoto Kurosaki. If I was shopping for myself. I really liked the balance forward in the blade. It's got a pretty flat profile. It looks really cool. It's got the Japanese handle on it. I definitely really am a big fan of the mono handles. I know a lot of other people are not, but yeah, I really like the handle on this guy. So there you have it, guys. The Battle of the Blades Santoku edition. The winner, Makoto Kurosaki's Santoku. Thanks so much for watching. Stay sharp.